This was the most emotional episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero to date. I felt that. I felt that in my heart. The entire sequence with Raphtalia confronting her past, it was a very emotional episode, and I gotta admit, I got sad. But before I get into the main meat of this episode that was really good quality and just the story progression and all that, I want to get into something that kind of irked me, but then was corrected thanks to original source readers. So, as we know, if you're an anime only such as myself watching this episode, you will see Raphtalia say something that's just very, how can I put it, in simple terms, cliche. It's a common trope, and just overall, in a lot of ways, it's writers trying to kind of cut corners and get out of their character committing, a heinous act, or just doing lazy writing. And in this case, Raphtalia said, "Oh, I will not kill you because I don't want to be just like you." It's very lazy, because let's look at the facts here. When she said that line, she says, "I don't want to be like you. If I was to kill you, I'd be just like you." Even if you were to kill the man, you wouldn't be like him, Raphtalia, and let me explain why. It's not just the fact that your entire character is completely different, but it's also the fact that the man and what he did is completely different from what you would be doing to him. See, the man, he was a mass murderer / torturing children. Raphtalia, even if she killed that man, she would not become something like that. So, just right off the bat, it's just she would not become him. That was very lazy, but also it might be a mistranslation. Whatever the case may be, it's still lazy, and I just don't like how that was a way for Raphtalia to get out of killing the man. Now, it does show that she wants to have the moral high ground, which in a lot of ways it's okay, but I just think that the overall essence of what that was trying to show, it just did not fit what the theme of the story is about, because, we had the stuff with Naofumi, and now he's constantly battling his own conflicts, his wrath, his anger when it comes to what Mayan has done to him, or this entire world has done to him. So just seeing how Raphtalia kind of got out of that, it's a little bit worrisome. However, the original source kind of, I guess clarifies this and actually gives it a better conclusion. So this picture right here, this is from the manga of The Rising of the Shield Hero. Obviously, when you see this entire panel or this page, you can see what's different here. It's not something we saw in this episode of the anime. In the manga, Raphtalia legitimately stabs the dude. She puts the man down. And so, in that moment, she actually committed an act that looked like, at the very least, she was probably going to kill him. So she did not kind of do anything to him. She didn't just push him back or whatever. She actually stabbed the man and took out her anger. So it was a very different Raphtalia in the manga, and apparently from what I'm hearing, it's also very similar in the light novel. So the anime decided to be a little bit different and change it up with Raphtalia, which kind of irks me, because it's kind of like they're changing what made Raphtalia as a character, at least in that moment in the manga and light novel. So I'm just like, why would you do that? Why would you want them to have the moral high ground? That's not what this entire moment was, because Raphtalia technically taking the man out, in a lot of ways, it would have saved a lot of people. And, let's just say on the off chance, okay, Raphtalia is, a good person for what she said, which she is kind of in her own way. It doesn't change the fact that the man said that, please spare me, and she's like, he will atone. There's no way, after everything we've seen from the individual throughout this entire episode and the last episode, that he would ever atone for what he has done to the demi-humans. There's just no way. He would never do that. So, Raphtalia saying, oh, he will atone, that's a pipe dream. That will never happen. You're literally speaking to a brick wall. So them changing the context of what Raphtalia does really undermines her character. Even if she wouldn't have done the killing blow, her not even performing the act of stabbing the man like she did in the manga and light novel is completely different from what she said in the anime. So yeah, I have to say right now that at least in the original source, it's obviously better than what this episode tried to showcase, at least when it came to this count. Now, okay, with that out of the way though, let's talk about Raphtalia's background. So, we all know that Raphtalia, she's been through a lot. We know she lost her family, we know she lost her friends, she lost her home, and all thanks to just the wave and stuff. She lost everything. And it didn't just happen in a span of a day. It seems like many days passed or even a week passed before something was finally done and she was thrown into slavery. Basically, a wave came out of nowhere, life was happy in this village, and it decimated everything. Raphtalia lost her parents. And in the course of this, Raphtalia still decided to smile and put on a brave face. She was telling the entire village, hey, let's smile, let's put on a brave face, let's rebuild. And thinking that the kingdom was coming to, give them aid and help them out, they find out that, they're enslaving us. And Raphtalia's life turned for the worse. And in that moment, Raphtalia was still trying to be strong. Even when she was enslaved by this count, she was trying to be strong for her friend. And as time progressed, eventually that smile started to wane, and her friend succumbed to illness. And she died, basically. We found out about that at the end of the episode. And obviously, Raphtalia, didn't really remember how to smile again. She lost that happiness within herself. She broke as a person, and we can even see to this day that she's still somewhat broken compared to what she probably was as a child. Something like that's not something that just disappears. It's something that sticks with you as a person. And, Naofumi, when we really look at what he's been through, and then compare it to what, Raphtalia's been through a hell of a lot worse than Naofumi. So, seeing her character development and how Naofumi has to be the one to confront her and comfort her makes perfect sense. It's a role reversal, because we saw earlier on in the series that Raphtalia, she was the one that had to confront and comfort, Naofumi when he was down in the dumps, and she obviously didn't fully recognize or realize how much, Naofumi cared for her, but now seeing this episode, she realizes that, but Naofumi realizes how foolish he's been, because he was depending on this small girl that has went through so much more than he has, and he thought he had it bad. He thought he had it worse than anyone, most likely, and he comes to find out that the person his very party that he thinks as family turns out to be someone that's in deeper crap than he was. So it's kind of sad, and I like the role reversal of how Naofumi had to be the one to cheer her up. But the big point here, though, is that Raphtalia, her entire build up to when she found out what happened to her friends was really sad, because she had this friend that was in her jail cell with her, and she, obviously she had hope. She had light in her eyes. The entire time she was in there, she wanted to believe that the shield hero was going to come save them. She wanted to believe that she would be able to grow old and have something to, great in her life. And obviously that never happened. Raphtalia, thanks to circumstances and luck, she got out of there, but because of that, her friend was left behind and she died. And this, disgusting part is that the Count left the body of her just sitting inside the cell and didn't do anything about it. He, even then, just leaving there just shows how little he cares at all. I mean, it really just extends upon how bad he is as a person, but just leaving a body like that, sitting there, decomposing, and then just nothing left, it's disgusting. And you gotta imagine from Raphtalia's point of view, when she walks into the jail cell and sees her friend like that, that's gonna break your heart. And that's kind of why in that moment Raphtalia was breaking down, because she saw her very, own friend that she saw a few months prior just dead like that. That's gonna mess with your mind, and that's why she was starting to blame herself, and why she was kind of want to say everything was a mistake. She shouldn't have became a sword for Naofumi. She was just wanting to deny everything, because she's like, I'm just done with this. I mean, I failed everyone. And that's kind of one of the big things that Naofumi said to her, and how he was able to cheer her up, was that you need to remember, Raphtalia, is that now you're at the point where you are strong, mentally and physically, and you need to remember now that you can stop things like this from happening. We can initiate change for people don't suffer like your friend has suffered, but also you have suffered, and any other demi-human or human won't have to suffer like this. It's a very big moment, and once again, it's kind of reminding Raphtalia of what her objective has been since the very beginning of the series, and now she finally has confirmation to fully believe in that and push forward. It was her own decision, not Naofumi forcing her to do that. She actually decided to push forward and try to stop things like this from happening. So, yeah, it's an interesting episode emotionally, and I like how Raphtalia's character had a really major spotlight to finally give closure to some of the things in her past. Now, the question I have is the demi-human boy that was introduced in this episode, will he be relevant in the upcoming episodes? Like, will he pop up again, or will he be a character that just appears for this arc and we're just not going to ever see him again? I'm very curious, because that was not clarified, and I highly doubt it's going to be clarified until way later, obviously. obviously, but I'm just kind of, curious. Like, is he going to join Naofumi's party, or is he just going to go back to his homeland or something, or figure out what he needs to do, and he'll eventually meet back up with Naofumi and them? Like I said, I have no idea. Getting into the country, it's very apparent after everything we've witnessed and what Melty is witnessing, she's realizing that this country needs to have a radical change. It's no longer acceptable to have this country ran like it is right now, because with what happened to Raphtalia and what Melty personally saw within this episode, she realizes how corrupt this country is and how it needs to be changed from the very foundation blocks. And I think once everything is said and done and Melty's able to gain a position of power and, find out the truth about mine, and maybe the queen is able to come back, that is when, things will probably be corrected, and, the demi-humans will have a better way of life in this country. Because right now, it's horrible. It's not a way to live, and it makes sense now why a lot of demi-humans would probably harbor a lot of hatred towards humans. I'm surprised there isn't more hatred than there already is that we've seen from the demi-humans in this series alone. Now, one last thing, let's talk about the T-Rex. So, apparently, it's revealed at the end of the episode that that giant monument is like a sill that sealed this ancient creature, which is a T-Rex, and it was sealed by the heroes. They couldn't deal with it, so they sealed it, and that's pretty much what happened. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight, because Naofumi's pretty much by himself just with Raphtalia and his group, so will he be able to take it out? Will they have to seal it again? Who really knows? But I think I'm going to end it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.